Hey you guys, it's Peter, and I wanted to do a dedication video to our dog Pee-Pee. And it was really important to me that before I put any other videos out on this channel, that I did this video. I think for any YouTuber out there that has ever made videos consistently and thinks about the videos that they're gonna put out, there are probably certain videos that you know at some point you might have to make, like your last video. If you ever signed off of YouTube and decided to not make videos anymore, you think to yourself, well, what would that video be like, you know, if I was to say goodbye forever? I've actually thought about that quite a bit. I have no plans on going anywhere, but I thought a lot about what I would say in my last video. And I think, honestly, I probably would just say thank you. Because you guys have been so amazing. We've been gone for the last week, and every single day we were just inundated with the kindest messages and emails and responses from people sending, you know, sympathy and condolences about Pee-Pee. And I just want to say thank you so much. When I started on YouTube in May of 2011, well, consistently, on my BookTube channel, I never in a million years thought it would, I mean, honest to God, I never thought it would turn into what it has turned into, with having 5 channels and people that are just I have met through YouTube some of the kindest, gentlest souls, I think, angels on earth that exist. And I want to say thank you for allowing me to come on video and share my life with you. All of it. And I really, really am just, for today, full of gratitude for that. But for quite some time, I knew that I was probably going to have to make a video about Pee-Pee at some time. If you've watched my vlog or you've watched my videos, I mention it from time to time that 2 years ago, almost exactly 2 years ago, Pee-Pee was diagnosed. So Pee-Pee, if you don't know, I'll put up a picture of him somewhere around here. And I'm kind of making this video for people that down the road find me and they don't know anything about me and they don't see Pee-Pee's he used to always sit over here in this chair when I would film videos. And you'd see his little ears from time to time pop up. So I'm kind of making this video for people too that have never gotten to experience Pee-Pee and his little hats, you know, or, you know, just running around the chair or whatever. So that they get to see, you know, who Pee-Pee was and what I learned from Pee-Pee. The weird thing about you two, I have to tell you, is, you know, that I have this vlog channel where today I'm going to talk about lessons that I learned from Pee-Pee, and it was funny because I was thinking, like, I want to do my hair. I want to look nicer in this video than I usually do with just a hat on and a t-shirt, you know? And I was like, that was one of the greatest things about him or any dog, you know, is that they just don't care how we look. They just don't, you know? They just love us for us. But, what was I gonna say? I don't even know. Oh, one of the greatest things about YouTube and having a vlog, you know, I have this vlog where I vlog every single day. Well, I missed the last week, but my stomach is growling a little bit. Is that I went back in the last week and I watched a lot of footage that I had, you know, of Pee-Pee and Boo and Tucker and just me sitting around and talking with the dogs and stuff like that. And it was just fantastic to be able to have that, you know, and that I will always have that. And if it weren't for YouTube, I wouldn't have that, you know. I just filmed a Peterisms video on my other channel and I talked in there about, like, I don't have any video footage of my mom except for when she was at my cousin's wedding and it was just like a wedding tape, you know. Like, I have no video footage of my mom. So if you're out there, record people in your life, record your pets, record your friends, make sure that you have lasting memories because it means so much. Alex and I sat in the hotel room in the last week, you know, every night, and we would show each other videos that we had of Pee-Pee and tell funny stories and show each other pictures, and we were like airdropping each other, you know, pictures and videos, and it was just really a nice way to like remember him and grieve. This ring light is looking really bizarre today, so that's a little bit better. You know, I was able to give eulogies for my mother and also my aunt. And for me, it was a way to pay homage and dedication, but also to share what my experience was like in life with being able to have them in my life. I truly feel that one of the greatest honors that we have, and this is just my belief and my experience, is when somebody or something allows us to be part of their life. I am forever grateful that Pee-Pee, this little dog, I got to be part of his life. He was in my life for 11 and a half years. I didn't know that he would have such a great impact. You know, he was my best friend that I ever had in the entire world. He sat right next to me when I wrote my book, and he was waiting for me by the door every day that I came home, and he was just so full of personality and such a great soul. And I believe that he continues to be a great soul. That's something that I personally believe. I wanted to share with you guys some of the things that I learned as a result of having Pee-Pee in my life. And in the last week, I kind of like jotted some of these things down. I did want to say that, you know, what's funny is I remember the very first time that I ever met him. And at the time, Alex had recently moved home from Bloomington, where he was in college, and he was living with his mom at the time. And we had gone, like, it was like the second week or something, and the first week, I don't know, that we had started dating. And we had like gone and like worked out together or something. And we came back to his house, and he was like taking a shower and getting ready. And so I was like sitting on his bed. And Alex had like this mattress like on the floor, you know, and Pee-Pee was in the bottom of it in these blankets, because he always loved to sleep underneath blankets. And he would, like, you know, go underneath these blankets and, you know, make a little cave for himself and whatever. And I actually, if I have it, I'll show up a little picture right here of this little cave. He would make a little cave. But I remember I was like sitting there, and I was like on my phone or something. I was kind of like leaning up against the wall, and all of a sudden it just like out of nowhere, like he just shot out, you know? And he was 2 years old at that time. Pee-Pee was a birthday gift that Alex's ex-boyfriend gave to him. And I just want to say, I said this in my video previously if you didn't watch it, and I know he doesn't watch my videos, I'm almost positive. But he has been so kind through this whole process, and thank you for giving me, not to me directly, but indirectly, the greatest friend I ever had in my entire life. His words in the past week have been so kind and so compassionate. And so it's weird, you know, how people and things come into our life for a reason. And I just remember that, you know, like Pee-Pee like darted out of the bed, and then he like ran back in, and then he was like running all over the bed, and then he just like stopped and he looked up at me, and I'll never forget that, you know, I'll never forget that moment of him just standing there looking at me. And even right now, like when I was like taking a shower and getting ready, you know, I'd always get like out of the shower, and I would like lotion up, and I would like look into the bedroom, and Pee-Pee would be sitting there, and I'd be like, hey, Pee-Pee. And he would like look up, you know, it's just his little face. But anyway, I'm gonna talk about some of the things that I learned from him, you know. One of the things that Pee-Pee and I shared was that he loved naps. He would nap anywhere. He would nap on the couch, he would nap on the chair, he would nap, you know, on the floor, he would nap on the stairs, he would nap in bed, which was his favorite place. He had his favorite blanket, which we have folded up and put Pee-Pee's toys on, and they're sitting on the bed right now. And he loved naps, and he never would act like it was anything, you know, wrong to nap in the middle of the day. And I remember Pee-Pee and I would take naps together, and then later Boo Radley would take naps with us. And it was just so nice to just be present and stop for a moment, you know, in life. And I think that I've always been a napper, and I think obviously a dog is not going to make excuses for a nap, you know, all dogs nap, but I think in looking back, it was one of his favorite things to do, you know, and I will always remember that every time I take a nap. But he also loved, you know, living too. He didn't like to just sleep away his life, and I think that this is a really valuable lesson for me. It's been really easy at times in my life for me just to sleep through things, and to not live, and to not be active, and to not participate in life, because sometimes I just feel like I'm shut down. And I have to remember this, you know, that he loved running and eating, and he loved playing with his brothers. That was probably one of his favorite things, was running outside. He loved to, you know, like chase squirrels in the backyard, and he loved playing with his brothers, and they were adventurers, and they loved to go all up and down. And in the summer, I would sit out here and I'd be on my phone, and all of a sudden I'd look up and they'd be way, 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 way down, you know? And they were big time adventurers, you know, all the three of them together. And I know Boo and Tucker still will be. And our job now is to be the best dads that we possibly can be to Boo and Tucker. But he was quite the adventurer. And family always came first for Pee-Pee, you know? Like, I know that these seem kind of like trivial things that you might learn from a dog, but whatever. Maybe it is, but I don't think so. I said to Alex last night, I said, we were like putting his stuffed animals together, and I said, like, I don't want to put him away. I'm just not ready just yet. You know, like, I'm a storyteller. I make up stories. And so I made up stories about, you know, Lamb Chop and Little Lamb Chop, which we called Lady, and Little Lady, and Otis, his little blue dog that he had that he loved. And I'm like, I'm not ready for that story to end just yet. Let's just keep him out for a little bit, you know? And maybe they're just stupid stuffed animals. But to me, they represent something. Stories with, you know, Pee-Pee and things like that. So, but family always came first. And, you know, he loved to just sit on Alex's lap, or he loved to like follow me around and be with his brothers. And he loved his brothers more than anything. He was just such a devoted brother to them. And always, you know, I would come home, you know, and after vlogging, and Boo Radley would be like in a little circle at the top of the bed, and Pee-Pee and Tucker would be at the end of the bed, and they would just be, you know, sleeping side or laying side by side, and they would just be like chewing on toys. And Tucker, the last couple days, never left his side. He just never left his side. It was almost kind of like bordering on bizarre. Like, he was closer to him than he had ever been. I said this in my vlog last night. I'm going to say it on here. For those people out there that do not believe that dogs have personalities or souls, if you could have seen all three of them the last couple days, you would have known that they themselves were their own family unit. That relied on each other and loved one another. It was so magical the last couple days. And it was just such an honor to like witness this thing that Boo, Tucker, and Pee-Pee had kind of like formed over the years, you know? He loved to cuddle and snuggle, and he was never afraid to cuddle and snuggle with somebody. He never lost his childhood innocence or wonder, you know? Pee-Pee would always get excited about something new, and I think that's something as humans that, you know, we care so much what other people think, or we worry so much, you know, that if it makes us look corny or naive or innocent, you know, that maybe it's not the cool thing to do. Dogs don't care. They just don't, you know? And he would always sleep in 5 more minutes if he could. And I would always like set my alarm, and then I would get up and I would say, 5 more minutes, you guys, 5 more minutes. And Pee-Pee would go back and he would go underneath the pillow where he slept when Alex left, and he would sleep for 5 more minutes. And he loved it. He knew, I think, that one of the, you know, sentences or words that he knew was 5 more minutes. He was the best son, brother, and friend that he could ever be. And I think, I don't just mean that like he was a good son, or he was a good brother, or he was a good friend. What I mean is that I think that for me, it's a reminder to aim at being the best son, husband, friend that I can be in this life. And I think maybe sometimes, you know, we miss that the simple life of dogs is very simple, but if we could take some of those small things and apply them to our own life, and that will definitely be one that I do. He led by example. He led his brothers by example, which he did. They learned everything they know from him, from how to go potty outside, to how to eat, to where to sleep, everything they learned from him. And he led his brothers by example. But when he messed up and was reprimanded, he learned from his mistakes. And this is really valuable to me, you know, that Pee-Pee wasn't somebody, a person, whatever, a dog. He wasn't somebody that it took him 100 times to learn something. It maybe take him 2 or 3 times, but he knew when he had done something wrong, and he would learn from it, and he wouldn't, you know, repeat that behavior. And I think that it's a great lesson in, you know, forgiving people and allowing people other chances to continue to learn from their mistakes. He loved to give kisses and never cared how bad his breath stank. And wouldn't that be great as if humans, you know, we thought the same way? Like, how many times have you gone to your partner, your boyfriend, girlfriend, husband, wife, whoever, you know, and go to kiss him and you're afraid of how bad your breath stinks? You know, he never cared. PP never cared. And I probably miss his kisses more than anything right now. You know, like I would pick him up and even in videos and be like, give me a kiss, and he would give me a kiss, you know, and he didn't care, and his breath was horrible. I mean, he had bad teeth. His breath was horrible. One of his favorite things was just sitting and being present in the sun, relaxing without a care in the world. I have tons and tons of pictures of PP just laying in the bathroom floor, and he's just sitting in the sun, and I would go in there and I'd say, PP, are you sunbathing? And he would just turn around and look at me. He loved laying in the sun. And it was weird when we were on this trip. You know, I've watched all these videos in the last week. This is how I grieve, you know, on YouTube about what happens to animals after they pass away and stuff. And a lot of psychics and pet mediums and stuff, you don't have to believe that, I do. But they believe that, you know, other small animals will come to you, you know, and that's like their spirit just saying like, hey, you know, we're around or whatever. And we saw so many small animals just like sunbathing, which of course we were in Mexico, so that makes sense. But at the same time, it was nice, you know, that like we would see that and we'd be like, oh, you know, there was a little baby lizard that kind of reminded us of PP for some reason, you know. PP was never intimidated by bigger dogs. He like would go up to he was this big, you know, and he would go up to a big dog and he would want to play with, you know, it and be nice and sniff around and whatever. But he loved to play with smaller dogs too. He was simply fascinated by meeting any type of dog. To him, all dogs were created equal. And at the same account, so were humans. You know, PP was socialized because he lived in a house on a college campus with 5 roommates of Alex's. PP was one of the most sociable dogs I've ever seen in my entire life. He didn't know a stranger. He literally treated everybody equally when they would see him. Every dog, every person, everything. And I think it's such a valuable lesson, you know. Lastly, life goes on. And even when he lost his teeth, he kept trying to chew bones and treats. If you've watched my videos for a long time, PP lost a lot of his teeth. And he couldn't chew on bones anymore, which was so hard for me to watch because he loved to chew those little bones. But he would just keep on trying no matter what. And even when he was diagnosed with heart disease, he kept fighting right up until the very end. Life goes on and you have to keep on trying and living. And that's what I'll do in honor of PP. He was my soulmate and my best friend I ever had. I'll miss you, PP. You'll forever be my little flying chihuahua. I love you. Bye.
I got it. I get your scratches. What's that? What do you want? You want more scratches? What? What is it? You gonna play? You like that? You like that? What's that sound? Is Daddy home? You like that, don't you, Pee-Pee? Don't you, Pee-Pee? Don't you, Pee-Pee?